In the Newsroom is a production in partnership with Studio Stillwater. Every week, journalists from the Stillwater News Press invite listeners to join us in the newsroom and hear the story behind the stories. Hello and welcome to In the Newsroom. I'm Bo Simmons, editor of the Stillwater News Press. Joining me today, reporter Ashlyn Huffman.
Hello.
And introducing journalism intern Chase Congleton.
Hello, it's me.
Did I pronounce your last name right?
Yes, you did, sir.
You've only been here a month or so.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
I'm not here much longer, so don't get used to me, guys.
Chase comes to us as a graduate, and at least in my time here, we'd never done that before, so you're kind of an experiment.
Yes.
What do you want to do with your life, Chase?
That's a great question. I ask myself that every single day when I wake up. Partially the reason why I decided to take this internship, or apply for it at least, was because I wasn't sure if I wanted to apply for a full-time job within journalism, and I wanted to make sure I get my feet wet into the real world, you should say, before I tried to apply to that direction. So,
very cool. Yeah, one thing we always do, they always ask us what the job is going to be like, and I make sure people know that for us, at least, since I've been here, your internship is going to be exactly like a new hire would be, a new staffer. We're going to put you through the same things. You get the same assignments, be able to pitch assignments, be able to work on a few different things. I mean,
yeah, that's what
does it feel like that for you?
Yeah, that's what I've enjoyed about it. I feel like I'm in the real world when it comes to it. My grandma was shocked that I don't give coffee to y'all. When I said I was the intern, I was doing work. She was like, "What? You're writing stuff?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And I'm pitching stuff, and we're going with it. So.
And you'll be a magazine editor.
Yes, that is true. Yes.
You're going to work on the survival guide.
The survival guide.
Well, what has been some things that, I don't know, I doubt it's a revelation, anything, but what's some of your early impressions or some of the things you've enjoyed or not enjoyed? We can go there.
Things I've enjoyed. Well, you guys listening to me and giving me advice on things that I could improve on has always been great. Things that I've enjoyed about this is that I can literally I can pitch whatever I want, and like you guys will either say that's great, or if it needs work on, you guys will push towards that direction that needs to be perfect right there. So that's what I've enjoyed about it so far. I think the thing that I don't enjoy is sometimes when I get really down on myself when I don't have like a perfect idea every single day. And that's just me though. No one's pressured me. No one said like, Chase, you need to have perfection every single day.
I said it.
Actually, yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, Ashlyn actually, she bullies me across the desk right there.
Literally every day.
Hate you for that. But I think, I don't think I've had anything objectively bad though that I would say like anything that I'm like, it sucked. No, well, I've loved it.
I think you have a knack now for going to these events and finding a story out of each of them, and that's not a super easy thing to do. Like a lot of people would be freaked out just by that, to having to go to a place where there's a big crowd of people they don't know and engaging them. So you do have that knack, which that could be, I don't know, that could be something to even put on a resume. I don't mind mixing it up with strangers.
Yeah, I will say, though, that carnival did scare me, though. That carnival the other day. I couldn't do it. I'll be honest, the story that I did for that, not my best work, but I'm just saying because that was thousands of people that were there. I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked how many people were at the carnival. I was like, where do I even begin? I go in there, there's no one that I know. Like, I just realized I'm graduated, so most people that I would know who would be there are long gone. So I was like, oh, so this is actually like OSU post-graduation for me. This is like, I don't know a lot of people here anymore.
All right. So I build Chase up, and he spends the next 2 minutes tearing himself down. Note to self.
Okay. Welcome to news.
If you build an empire, I'll tear it down. Rome was not built in a day, but I'll be sure to destroy it in a day.
Literally same.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we've yeah. I mean, anything else you want to sort of add to that experience, or it's something you'd like to try? I'll put it this way: you say you don't exactly know what you want to do. What if you stick to journalism? What is sort of a dream beat? What is something you'd really like to cover?
I loved how this past month I've been able to focus on, stuff going on with Pride Month, stuff like that, parts of the LGBT community in Stillwater. There is a community in Payne County for sure that doesn't get as much recognition as it deserves. So when I was able to just like see that event that's happening this past week, I was just the Pride in the Park. I was just shocked that there was just a thriving community of some sort that kind of came out and supported the community. And so that'd be something I'd be interested in doing, definitely.
Just looking at these issues in rural America?
Yeah.
Or just
yeah.
looking at...
Because I relate to that,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't grow up in Stillwater, but I grew up in Edmond, so my town was much bigger. But it's something that I understand more. I feel like a lot of LGBT media that you see in mainstream sites is usually written by people who were on the coast or who made it to the coast, where like, there's lots of just like LGBTQ friendly stuff, there's lots of, communities there, and the community isn't as visible, in Oklahoma when we're here. So that, when you do see media like that or events like that, if it just hits different for people like me. So yeah, that's something that I didn't realize I could write about, that I enjoyed doing. I was like, oh, I could write about this, not put my own words to it, but like also give, a platform to people that I know who are going through the same experience as I am, which was kind of cool. So,
I mean, does that mean you think your perspective, or at least your voice, probably is a little different than a coastal person sort of coming in,
definitely
looking at these issues?
Definitely. Just from what I've seen on news sites or Twitter, of how the discourse is with like, the political climate, I feel like a lot of, people who lean more towards the Democratic side of things are often like, if you have Republican friends, what are you doing? And I'm like, I have lots of Republican friends and family. Like I kind of have to in Oklahoma. You can't just, if people don't agree with you 100%, you can't just outright delete them from your life in Oklahoma. You got people you got to talk to every single day. You got to find ways to love them despite who they, differences and opinions for stuff like that. So I think a lot of people that I know relate to that a lot, where it's like people on the coast have this thing of like, oh, you got to be this side or this side when it comes to certain things. But like, there's got to be more nuance to stuff in conversation when it comes to political opinions for stuff like that. So
what about you, Ashlyn? You got a dream beat? We're manifesting right now, right?
Okay.
Saying things,
I'm excited for your dream
making
beat.
it come true.
Yes. Well, I want to do investigative journalism is what I want to do. And then probably some social justice reporting
Right.
on criminal justice.
Large market. Yeah.
Well, before I started this job, I thought, I have to work at the New York Times to make a difference. But, over the last year and a half, I've realized community journalism is where it's at, honestly, because you can make a real impact on the community. But probably bigger than Stillwater, but maybe not New York.
Maybe not New York City.
Yeah.
At the New York Times.
Yeah, which
But
has been my dream for a long
close.
time. But yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately because with mainstream media, you just think, I have to work there to make a difference. But, it's not true. To anybody that wants to do journalism, it's not true.
I like that. Well, and I don't have a smooth transition for this, but
let's go.
Yeah. No, but we're talking about community journalism, and I was on a panel, what was it? 2 weeks ago now? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
At the Oklahoma Press Association, where we all won a lot of awards. Ashlyn won an award. Well, Ray Loki Memorial Award.
Heck yeah.
For her reporting. But I was doing the panel for, I think it was called sort of just the evolution of journalism. And, we got almost immediately into social media. And something we really used it as like how it could be a tool for reporting, but something we really didn't get into is how you can also sort of create visibility in a profile for yourself. You see reporters all the time now, sort of they grow their personal brand with this, and
certainly.
it may not be something that happens in community reporting, but certainly people with large followings can turn those into jobs.
Yeah.
And so I wondered what you guys thought of this, even, going in to now when you're looking for jobs, when you're looking for the next step, how do you want to be more visible online? Do you want to be able to self-promote a little better, have a little more reach? What does online visibility mean now?
It's like a frightening thing, I would say.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm not great with social media anyways, so it is a little bit frightening to see young journalists flaunt to social media and promote their work, because I don't do that. I don't really, retweet or update my profile with my stuff, which is, scary when other people do.
But I think it's great to keep doing it, because when, it comes to that time where you're looking for the next step in your career, like you have your stuff already updated because you've been doing it all along.
Yeah.
But because I was just thinking, like when I was making my resume portfolio like this past year, I was like, I had not updated it in like 2 or 3 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, I still have this up here? Like I still have like this stupid corny joke as my bio. Like...
So in a way, you're saying that people can see the progress you've made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just by looking back through things.
Yeah, and you see it with yourself too. Yeah, definitely.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought about that. Something else. I think there's value to the person and to news organizations. Like if you have someone who's good at Twitter, and they increase their following, then there's more options for their stories to reach more people. Or you could have someone who's good at Instagram or Facebook or all these different things, and it adds a little value. But you guys we were discussing this earlier, and you were taking it a little bit differently, like the concern that if you're like a concern that your public persona could label you in, as having different biases.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I think about a lot, because I think that's what a lot of my professors were talking about. And granted, like a lot of my professors at OSU, love them to death. They are old too. So I think they're thinking Twitter likes are too literal. Just because I like something on Twitter does not mean I 100% endorse that thing that's right there. So I'm always afraid. I'm always conscious about what I like on platforms like Twitter. I feel like every journalist that I know is like, there's a certain part where you can express your opinion, but you can't go too far because it'll fall short on your biases, which I think is ridiculous though. Like my work should be the part of me that isn't biased. If anything, like I should be the one who's just doing the reporting when it comes to my work. But when it comes to my own personal life, my own personal platform, I should be able to express, obviously, like to an extent of how I feel. Like I can't tweet, I want to shoot the president without expecting a little pushback, because that's a terrorist, a terroristic comment right there. But if it's something like, Black Lives Matter or, for me personally, like, LGBT rights, I should be able to say something without it coming across as like, oh, he's biased on this, he can't talk about it anymore. I'm like, well, I can't talk about it, then have someone else report on it then, but I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about on my platform,
Right. It does seem to be like, I don't know, maybe we just lost a middle ground. What were you going to say, Ashley?
Yeah, well, as a journalist, credibility is everything. So it is a little bit scary trying to navigate social media and people assuming things just because you retweet or like or you post something that you're biased. And, I've seen that a lot on social media, that people talk about how reporters are biased just for their social media. So I think it's important to understand that as journalists, we are human and we are separate from our work. Yes, they go hand in hand and we have to be careful, but just because I as a person support Black Lives Matter does not mean my work is biased if I'm reporting on like a Trump rally. You have to be able to differentiate between the person and their job, pretty much.
I will say though that the best journalists I feel like are people who on Twitter are just funny. Like you can't like people like I follow some people who are just hilarious, and just because I think with now like with social media, if you're a journalist, to be able to get your platform growing is to be engaging with your audience, knowing what's current, what's trending, what are the current memes of that week, what are the current trends that are happening, and kind of following through with that and executing that. It's really trial and error for certain things when it comes to social media.
Yeah, because you can't pick up on sarcasm on social media. So, if I say something completely sarcastic, they're going to take it seriously.
Yeah, you can't be rude. You can't be rude. But if you're funny and you're like playing along with your audience and they're playing along with you, it goes a long way right there. You know?
Facebook is definitely a lot easier for me than Twitter. And, I don't know why. Facebook is just a lot easier for me.
I'm the opposite.
Really?
I try to open the Facebook app and I have no idea. I only use it for Facebook events, to be honest. And to occasionally post something on there.
See, my Facebook is where I share all of my stuff. And all my articles. That's where I get news tips. That's where I reach out to sources. But Twitter and Instagram, I don't really use for work purposes at all.
Just different crowds, probably.
Yeah.
I am old. I'm almost 25.
What does that mean? I'm 23.
Young.
Yeah, young
Young
thriving.
kid.
Yeah.
Something I do tell Ashlyn all the time, right? That you are not your likes, right?
That's because Bo got like 700,000 likes on his tweet.
Not even
And
close.
Have you
I got 3, and they're all in this room.
Have you seen that Instagram is like removing likes now for some
Yeah.
people? Like I removed it on mine, and it's just weird because there's a little space in between the comments and the likes now. You can't see any likes for anyone's post, and it makes me like paranoid now. I'm like, because I'm so used to there being a number. I'm nosy.
Yeah.
I'm like, but now you can't even see who's liking it. You can't see your friends liking stuff now.
And then, okay, Chase also said something before we got on air that I'm really curious about. You were talking about you don't call it a burner account, you call it something else. You're gonna have to
Spam.
fess up now.
Yeah, spam.
What are
yeah.
you saying? You're
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of comparison right there.
Because I will say that I don't ever worry about this stuff. I'm the same person at home as I am at work, as I am, with family. Same guy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter to me where I am and what I'm sharing. I don't need a separate persona to express myself anywhere.
Yeah.
But as I'm saying that, I guess I can admit, I'm like maybe that's a place of privilege because I've never been marginalized in a marginalized part of society. I've never needed a safe place to express anything.
Yeah.
I've always just been able to do that. So how many of these burner accounts do you have, Chase?
Actually, okay. I mean, how many platforms do I have? I have one. I mean, I have Instagram and Twitter. Like I'll have Finstas and stuff. It's basically stuff that like I don't want a lot of people that like Twitter.
You're trying to make sure people can't trace it back to you.
Yes, it's just
when
like
you comment on
it's
something.
stuff that I know would go too far professionally. Nothing that's hurting people, but like if my employer were to see a tweet that's like that, they'd be like, "Chase, are you okay? Like, what was that? Like, what did you?"
See,
like,
I kind of think people are going to hear this, but who may not know what you're talking about, but I'm betting you're in like the majority.
Yeah, no.
And like there's many people who have
many people, my friends have burner accounts, and we follow each other's burner accounts. This is not like a Chase thing. This is definitely like everyone that I know who's growing up and who posted a lot between their 12 to 15-year-old ages. When you say really dumb things, not even ignorant, just dumb things. Like, why are you talking about whoever didn't talk to you in math class? But there's a point where like I can't realistically go through all my social media posts and delete everything. So it's just best for me to start brand new and then private the other one and then continue that one for like jokes and like connecting with old friends, and then the new one trying to make connections through professional life. It's stressful to keep the two worlds, separate.
Okay, so nothing is real.
Nothing is real.
Twitter is not reality. You are not your likes.
Yes, nothing is real.
Everything we know about social media is a lie, apparently.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't have any of those spam accounts, but I've definitely thought about it because I do feel like I have to keep a social media presence because of my job. I once had Donald Trump blocked, and I had a professor say, "Ashlyn, you have to unblock Donald Trump because you're going to be a journalist. You have to keep up with all news." And so that really was like, okay, I'll just limit what I post on my social media.
Yeah, when it comes to certain
but I
things
never
like
thought
that.
about a spam account until like recently.
It's great because you can follow whoever you want, like whatever you want. Like I follow so much Britney Spears stuff on my on my spam one that you would think I'm the only one who's talking about free
It would kind of
Britney.
be like a freedom thing because it is stressful to try to keep your social media 100% clean. Don't like any of the funny jokes on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, here's something I'm wondering about too when we talk about online visibility, increasing your profile. And I know it's not something we in print journalism worry about as much. What they call parasocial relationships, which happens way more often with our TV colleagues.
Yeah.
As far and what that is basically a sort of a one-sided relationship where you see the weather person on TV and begin to think that you have a relationship with that person. You being, they beam into your home every night, so you start to think you know them.
Yeah.
I don't think it happens to us as much, probably just because we're not as good looking as the folks on TV.
Excuse
that may be part
you?
of it.
Excuse you?
But do you get weird things where people sort of criticize you like you know you? Is that, Ashlyn, that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I mean, criticize, assumptions, all of that rolled into the same. Yeah, people, they definitely assume things, but you just got to ignore it.
But it doesn't get too personal?
Well, when I did that sexual assault series, I mean, that one email was a little bit aggressive.
Well, I mean, I think there are professional criticisms, right?
Yeah.
That probably aren't the same thing as
Yeah, well, I mean,
the parasocial relationship stuff that.
Well, the thing that I think about right now is I just started my job and then the pandemic hit, and this lady messaged me on Facebook and was like, you need to stop reporting false COVID numbers or you're going to go to jail. Like, we're going to call the cops. And I'm like, lady, I don't even report on the COVID numbers. That's not what I do. I just cover crime.
I never realized how much like local news just feels like Parks and Recreation until like working this internship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm just getting like flashbacks to the episodes where like they're at like city hall meetings and like people are complaining for things that aren't actually real, like that. Like they're complaining about COVID numbers to you, but you don't even report on COVID numbers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, ma'am, that's not what I do.
That's not my job, actually.
But yeah, I mean, there's just people make assumptions, and I mean, when I started my job, I took everything very close to heart, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe all these people have these negative things to say about me. But now it's like, I take it with like a grain of salt, if that's whatever that saying is, Some things I do still, get sad about, but mostly you just have to take the criticism and roll with it.
Yeah.
Right. I think you can turn almost any criticism constructive if you
think about it.
Make it that way, You're not worried about getting famous. Not even after you following the downfall of Britney Spears. You're not worried about fame.
Oh, no, I absolutely am worried about fame.
Okay.
Like, I went viral on TikTok really like a couple times this past few months, actually. Like, one of my videos got like 1 point something million views, and then another video got 7 million views, and then someone reposted that video on Instagram, and that repost got 7 million views. So my face has been seen by lots of people who will DM me and be like, hey, this is your TikTok, and I'm like, I don't know how the heck you're seeing this right now. Like, it was not supposed to blow up like that. Like, I mean, everyone was kind of relating to the stuff that I was saying, but there was definitely some hate comments that come in from that. And, I had to learn quickly that I need to just turn notifications off for that kind of stuff, because people will just say whatever they say. Because, no one's gonna like say something bad about someone like to their face, but when there's a screen and you dehumanize the person on the screen, like, it's fair game right there. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, that's the thing about journalism, is more people are willing to give you negative feedback than good feedback. So like, you just got to roll with it, because there's a lot of people out there that enjoy what we do, what we put out each day, and the hard work we put into the community, but they just don't say anything because they're enjoying it. The people that are not enjoying it or who have an issue with something are the ones most likely to speak up. So when I started this, I was like, oh my God, everyone hates me because all of this negative comments on my articles. But then, I covered this one event and got a thank you card, and I was like, wow, there are people out there that care. They're just not the ones that are speaking up.
Yeah. I was surprised when I went to the Juneteenth celebration in Langston back in, I think, the 12th, I think.
Yeah.
A few of the, older ladies that were there, like working at one of the booths, they recognized me from the memorial celebration, Memorial Day, thing.
Yeah, a week before you were.
Yeah, I was there, and they recognized me, and they said, you wrote a really beautiful piece right there. I love the photo you posted, like, of the wreath. It's had so much symbolism, and to me, I was just, obviously thankful that they even, recognized my work, but also I was just shocked that they were so passionate about the photo that I took, because it was just from my iPhone. Like, on second thought, I was like, oh, I should take a picture of this. This looks kind of cool. This might be good. So it's cool how, like, something that I didn't think was a big deal when I was taking the picture or posting it or planning it, they had their own interpretation for what that meant for them. And I thought that was really cool. So
that's nice. Yeah. So, okay, let's weigh a person in our community telling you they appreciate your work versus viral TikTok.
Same thing.
Talk about your first front page story and how you framed it.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, the Juneteenth celebration that got front page right there for the last Thursday's paper, and Rick, right? He was the one who was like, "Hey, like, I was like, I'm gonna get a frame," and he was like, "Here, I got an extra frame right here." So he went to the cabinet, got a frame out, and I was like, "What?" So I put it in there, and it's hanging up in my room right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to us too.
Yeah.
that you
No.
would
It motivates
care so
me.
much about it.
Yeah, it motivates me a lot to keep working and keep doing the work that, people like you guys, took on. I wouldn't say take a chance with me, but, you took a chance. You could have hired anyone else that was younger or anyone else.
We tried.
Yeah, honestly, there weren't that many applicants. So
There was
you're just
2,
like, yeah.
Sam and Chase.
Actually, we just, we had the bottom of the barrel right here, so you're lucky. But
what's coming up? What do we got? What's cooking, Ashlyn? What are you working on?
Today I'm working on the Playabilities grand opening ribbon cutting celebration today. Yeah, I talked to a bunch of families.
Strickland Park.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
I talked to a bunch of families that had children with disabilities and who were handicapped and were not able to play at regular parks. And it kind of opened my eyes because, that's not something I deal with on the daily. And so it gave me an appreciation for this park. And it's, not even specifically for me. But yeah, there was one mom who just teared up and was just so thankful to the community for donating and helping build this park, because she said she couldn't take her daughter to the park anymore. And I think her daughter was 3. And she said, I just can't take my kid to the park.
Right. Makes you think. Not everything is accessible to everyone.
Exactly.
Right?
It really does make you think about the struggles that other people do have. Some of them said that they would have to travel to Tulsa or Tahlequah to even go to a park. And now they have one right here in Stillwater.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty eye-opening. It was just to feel all the thankfulness in the air, and all the kids were just so happy. It was a really good sight
That's really
to see.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
That's one of those things where you're just like, oh, thank goodness, like, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and to see the parents get excited to see their kids in the newspaper, I always like that part too, because they get really excited to see their kids. So, and talking to the kids, I talked to a couple of kids. Of course, kids are really hesitant and few words, but yeah, most of them said they had a lot of fun with everything there. So it was nice.
That's so sweet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Very cool. Chase, anything you want to work on?
I would love to work on a lot of things, but my brain is frazzled from this past week.
Probably gonna focus on the magazine a little bit.
Yes, no, definitely.
Which is have we explained it here?
I think we explained.
It's a welcome magazine, I think, for incoming OSU students. Really,
Yes.
is sort of how we pitch that. So that'll come out. I want to. End of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
We usually get ready to go for Lights on Stillwater, which hopefully, if the Delta variant hasn't destroyed society again, they'll have a public Lights on Stillwater.
Ugh.
And then everyone can check out your magazine.
Yes, I'm hoping.
If we haven't completely collapsed in a few weeks, you guys will be able to check out Chase's magazine. So look forward to that. And that's probably going to wrap us up here. So thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
This has been In the Newsroom. Thank you for joining us in the Newsroom. Look for Studio Stillwater wherever you find your podcasts. Find archived episodes on stwnewspress.com.